it scrambled down the tree. And that type of speed is real. They can run up to 25 miles an hour. Hey y'all, I'm Dr. Rae Wynn-Grant. I'm a wildlife ecologist and I've been studying bears for 13 years. Today we're going to be looking at bear attacks in movies and on TV and judging how real they are. Honestly, in real life, bears are very quiet. They really don't do a lot of growling, they don't do a lot of roaring, but if there's a territory dispute, two big male alpha bears might actually stand up on their hind legs and roar at each other and fight. But if there's a big bear and a small person, that bear isn't usually going to go through all that. Brown bears and black bears do. In fact, I have experienced a bear do a bluff charge on me, and it is frightening and terrifying, but really they're just trying to freak you out so that you back up and walk away and they don't actually have to. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I really wish the bear had climbed up at the end. Let me make it clear, that is what you don't do. Even if it looks like you might be attacked by a bear, you never run. It's because humans cannot outrun bears. When humans run, it signals to the predator that you're prey. Like that's what a little deer would do or a little rabbit would do. But when we stand still, that's so different than what prey would do that they get the message. No way. Bears, as big and burly as they are, can also get into teeny tiny small spaces. I mean, I've seen bears squeeze themselves into anything they want. So again, if it wanted to hurt him, it would. This is interesting. So we see that they made a ring of fire, and that's their tactic of protecting themselves. First, no one should ever do this in the wilderness, okay? It will start a forest fire. But two, there really is something to this, and that's that most wild animals are afraid of fire. It's just something that they haven't experienced, right? They can't make fire themselves. So as much as I don't want anyone to ever use this tactic, I believe it would be effective to keep you safe.
How are we going to lure him? Blood!
Did you see him? Blood! That's not gonna work. Okay, so bears are driven by hunger. Blood does not necessarily signal this is something to eat, right? A bear wants to smell something delicious. It wants to smell honey. It wants to smell rotting meat. I think they're getting this from the shark thing. Sharks are drawn to blood. It's not the same with bears. So this is actually something that we use in real life. If we want to lure a bear to something, maybe we set up a little trail cam and we want to get information on the individual bear, we'll put out what we call a scent rag. And so it looks just like that, like a little piece of cloth, and we'll put some kind of scent on it. We could literally use vanilla extract. They'll come right to that rag to see what it is.
Run, run!
Is it realistic that that bear might come looking for you again because you are still in its territory and haven't left? Yes. However, is it realistic that a bear is going to attack over and over when there's 2 or more people? No. So bear attacks happen usually when there's just one person by themselves. If you have 2 or more, it rarely happens, which is another way that people can be safe when they recreate in nature. It did look real, but the probability of something like this actually taking place, I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 10. The first shot we see of the bear is of its claws, right? Those are real claws. They did a great job modeling that. It looks like a real animal. And then the other thing we see is the bear sniffing, right? Meh. Bear's sense of smell is so precise and can go across such a long distance that they're not gonna be sniffing around for a person when they're literally 2 feet from them.
Bears can't climb trees.
Of course I can!
This little kid just said, we're safe because bears can't climb trees, right? Already I'm oh no, they're doomed. Bears are the best tree climbers.
Go, Henry! No!
Henry, move!
Go higher!
He's kicking downward with his leg. If you ever find yourself above a bear on a tree, you should do that. But climbing higher, no. There's a phrase out there when it comes to bear attacks. If it's black, fight back. If it's brown, lay down. And it's important to note that this is for bear attacks. This is not for bear encounters. Even if a bear is near you, even if it's approaching you rapidly, that's still not an attack until it's actually like physically touching you. That is a really important difference. Because if a bear is not attacking you, that's when you back away slowly, you make yourself look big. If it is attacking you, the kid did it right, but the whole time, also try to get out of there. It scrambled down the tree, and that type of speed is real. So the bear like first slowly went up to get the boy. Of course they can do that, but the way it practically leapt onto the second tree and scaled it in a second, that's really when a bear wants something. I mean, they can run up to 25 miles an hour. Also, it should be said that like bears don't do drugs. It is totally like hypothetical what a bear would do if it was like on tons and tons of cocaine. But this movie is loosely based off of a true story. But there was a bear in the 80s, I believe it was 1985, that was found dead after ingesting a big amount of cocaine that was dropped from an airplane. But in general, overdoses can kill animals just like they can kill people, and that's what happened to the real cocaine bear. The only thing that I saw in this clip that wasn't so accurate is that they're really not that interested in attacking people, right? Especially black bears. Black bears are the least predatory of all the bear species. They mostly have a vegetarian diet. They love their fruit, they love their nuts. Another thing people should know is that bears do not eat people. Sometimes it's happened, like really, really rarely, but they do not prey on humans. If a bear is attacking someone, it's really because they perceive that person as a threat. I would give it like a 6 out of 10. I can't imagine a bear ever leaving one person to go attack another person for drugs. Oh, that's real. Right behind him comes what's gotta be Mama Bear. The female bear raises her cubs and she dedicates her life to keeping them safe. This guy was technically just standing there, but because he was between the bear and her cub, she sees that as a threat and she ran right through him. So we often tell people who are like recreating in the wilderness, do not physically come between a female bear and her cub. Even if you notice a bear cub on its own and you do not see the mama, get away from there immediately. You are in danger, okay? They lose their mind and they just attack. So it's actually really, really accurate the way that they showed the attack. The way that the bear uses her teeth the most, like she does a little bit of like paw stuff. She uses those parts of her the most because they're the most effective. And again, she's not trying to like get a bite to eat, right? Like if she wanted to eat him, she would use her claws to tear him apart. But instead, she just wants to have those fatal bites to keep her cubs safe. But the biggest myth that the media shows about bears is that they're always on the attack. In some of the national parks that have bears, take Yellowstone National Park, your chances of a bear attack are something like 1 in 2 million. So truly, bears are peaceful, they're docile. And with that said, don't bother them, don't frustrate them, and don't trigger them, because if you do, you might be in trouble. Like at this exact spot, I wish the character knew to play dead, because this is a brown bear, sometimes called grizzly bears. And with that species, it's really important to play dead, because if he just played dead right there, it's more likely that she would like nudge him a little bit more just to make sure and then walk away. But he's like still making a little bit of noise, and it's telling her like, nope, he's still alive, he could still be a threat. This is giving me anxiety. He shot her and then she just attacked more because she's like, see, I was right. It just tried to hurt me. I'm just gonna like kill it and rip it to pieces now. So I can understand having a weapon and wanting to like kill it and fight back for your life. But again, you're safer playing dead until he can no longer hear or see the bear or her cub. Honestly, I'd give this one a 10 out of 10. It's, believe it or not, a CGI bear, but they really got it right.
How did you get up there? I don't know.
And of course, like pandas don't really do the splits, but they are flexible. All the little YouTube videos you see of like pandas in captivity rolling around and being cute, they really do have very flexible bodies, although they're chubby and fat.
I now see that the way to get through to you is with this. Oh, great.
Realistic that they would want to eat a lot of food, but would they eat delicious Chinese pork buns? I don't think so. However, a lot of people don't realize that pandas, although they're vegetarians and some might think they're herbivores, they're actually still carnivores. Pandas have the gut microbiome to digest meat, meaning they have the bacterial community in their bodies to break down meat and synthesize it for energy. So that means that it's possible that ancient pandas were carnivores and ate meat all the time, and probably if they wanted to, they still could. So, you know, this panda is learning martial arts, which is atypical for wild pandas. But believe it or not, pandas can fight. Pandas have claws and they have fangs, long fangs that could rip through tissue really easily. So they have the physical structure to be very, very aggressive and violent if they want to. I love this movie, but I have to give it a 1 out of 10. I'm always happy to see polar bears. They're awesome. They are not only the largest of all 8 bear species, they're also the largest carnivore on the planet, and they are very aggressive. So to have a very violent interaction between 2 alpha male polar bears is realistic. We're not gonna have like an audience of other polar bears. Maybe if there's like a big common food source, they would congregate together. Other than that, they're not really cooperating like that. The other thing that we wouldn't really see in a polar bear fight is the running and slamming together. Usually when they're fighting, they approach each other slowly, they'll do all the bluff charges to each other, and then they'll get up on their hind legs and start fighting, but they won't kind of knock each other back and then run at each other together again. They don't eat people, they don't eat each other, but they're more likely to be extremely aggressive. Polar bears are what we call obligate carnivores, right? So that means they just want to hunt and kill and eat. And because of that, it impacts their behaviors. They often say, like, if it's white, good night. It means that if you are in an attack with a polar bear, it's not looking good. As well done as the art was, I would give it like a 2 out of 10.
Bear fight!
I think it goes without saying that this is like extremely exaggerated. The bear was like slapping back, and that was actually kind of realistic. In fact, like it doesn't take a lot of energy for them to like slap you across the face. But punching a bear in the face is just a really great way to irritate them and to get them to really hurt you.
Hey, Ron! I'm riding a furry tractor!
You can't ride a bear. It's kind of worth explaining that over the years, bears have been used in like circuses and entertainment capacity. Don't train wild animals. There's a lot of ethics around this. Probably bear riding has been a thing. But these days, you're not really gonna find it anywhere. I would give it, again, like a 3 out of 10. Oh! That's something that every camper is worried about. If they're camping in a place where bears could be, bears will smell something good in your tent and will come looking for it. So it looks like she just uncapped her bear spray. Really glad to see that. Bear spray is something that I have on me at all times whenever I'm in the wilderness. It can save your life. This is where this woman went wrong. Bear spray is completely 100% ineffective when you're in close proximity with the bear. It's just gonna aggravate it and make it attack you. You use it when there's a bear in the distance. Bear spray is pepper spray, but it's not the same kind of pepper spray that we use to keep ourselves safe. It is extremely powerful and it shoots at a long distance. So if you sprayed bear spray in your tent, you would not be able to breathe. You wouldn't be able to see, like you would be incapacitated. You have to do it in the open, and then you have to get yourself out of there. So what they should have done is at the beginning of the clip, unzip the tent, spray the bear spray, zip it back up, and wait a few minutes and see what happens. That one was intense. It would have to have so many interactions with humans that it learns a behavior to become a killer, like a deliberate predator of humans. Also, the bear spray situation could have saved them way before the attack actually happened. I wish they had just deployed the bear spray the right way. I wanted to give it like a 9 out of 10 because I was like, camping, black bear, fear, like that all makes sense. But then in terms of how aggressive and how like murderous that bear was, I want to give it like a 4 out of 10. Oh my God, what is that? Kind of has like the humps and lumps of a bear-ish. We can see like it has this extended kind of snout, almost like a horse head, and then like a more flat head. Black bear will either have like the extended snout, but then like a proper hump for a head, or a brown bear or grizzly bear has more of like the flattened face and like a much rounder head. It's all over the place. One of the things that I'm also noticing is that it looks like there's places where it's like missing fur and just has raw skin. And believe it or not, this is actually kind of accurate because there are times when bears can be very susceptible to mange, the same mange that dogs can get. So it's possible that like a mangy bear influenced this animal here. Okay, I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 10. Like that wasn't even a real animal. My favorite bear show is a show that I've actually been in, and I don't think it's fair to really toot my own horn right here. So I will say that my second favorite bear show was Yogi Bear. And it was mostly about this bear named Yogi who lived in a national park and would steal people's picnic baskets, but it's like kind of realistic, right? Like bears are in a lot of America's national parks, and they love our food. That's something that humans and bears have in common. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, why not click on the video above?